Hey everybody, it's Peter Palmiotti and Making Comics and Art, episode 240. Got something special for you. Hold on a second. Let's see. Yes, it says I'm sharing, so here we are. It's happening. Designated issue 1. Notify me on launch button to be notified when we go live, which should be 2 weeks from now. So happy 4th, first of all. So I believe we're getting this recolored, but this is what the Francesco with Francesco, but he's recoloring it, so we'll see what that turns out to be. And here's a sneak peek at the colors of issue 1, which I'll be announcing the colors tomorrow because I failed to do that today. Or yesterday, as I promised, I believe. So much is going on, but there we go. The link is down below in the video description. Torres designated. Sign up right now. And here we go. I should. Okay, so yeah. Let me do this. All right. Oh, come on. Typing, hold on. All right. I'm putting the link into the chat. So hopefully that works. There we go. It is in the chat. And yeah, you can go there. Oh, of course. I'm all blurry. Don't worry about that. I'll fix that in a second. So thrilled. We were moving forward. So yeah, the other day I made a bunch of notes for Mark, and I looked at the page, which you can't see yet, but you see the sign-up page. The actual Kickstarter page. He has made some improvements to it, so I'm very much happy, and I'm sure he'll be tackling it up until it goes officially live. But we've been approved, so we're already approved. We're doing sign-ups to scope out, how many people actually go out and sign up, and we can see if we need to do a lot more promotion, all that jazz. Hopefully we get a couple 100 signups, because as it goes, only a portion of those actually go and pledge. Come on, webcam program. So yeah, I very happy with it. You see the coloring looks pretty awesome. And yeah, it would be issue 1, single issue, I guess 32-page book. It'll be the story pages and some extras. And here we go. Come on. Actually, it looks good now. Okay, here we go. No autofocus, because you always throw things out. Okay, good. We are good. We are solid. Technically, we already had our 4th in town. Just what is it? Friday, Saturday night. Um, It's definitely worth it. So we had tons of fireworks going off last night, but the town did theirs the night before, and I expect we'll get some fireworks tonight, but not as much. It being a Monday night. There's a lot of people off today here in town. There's some businesses open, but everything will be back to normal tomorrow. Business as usual. And that should be fun. So the title of this episode, Independence. Wanted to talk about independent comics, independent comic creators. I figured I'd draw one, start off our stream here. It was mentioned, I forget, I think Jimmy shared a picture of openers not too long ago. So Jimmy Palmiotti, my brother, yes, Jimmy is my brother, if you don't already know. And Openers was a old bar in New York. I think it was between 23rd and 24th Street on the east side. It's actually not too far away from where Joe Quesada used to live when he had an apartment in the city. I know this because I sat for him years and years ago. And Openers was pretty close to there. And Jimmy and Joe had parties. And I distinctly remember meeting Mike McNiller outside the bar. Because, bars get loud and noisy. And I went outside for some air. And this dude was doing the same. And it was Mike McNiller. And Selena, welcome. Happy 4th to you. Hope you're doing well. Fireworks and all. And yeah, Mike was hanging outside, and I was hanging outside, and we talked for a little bit. And that was my first time meeting Mike Miller. And I'm pretty sure I blanked on everything I knew about him, and just well, just was happy to talk to him. Happy to get to meet him, and I'm pretty sure that's the only time I met him. He's probably been at cons that I've been to. I'm just doing this from memory. Actually, Cowboy's got this. How does it show up? It's got a little hair thing tied. It looks almost Japanese. Doing good. Cheers. Selena and Crimson Owl, otherwise known as Ronnie. How you doing, Ronnie? Welcome. So yeah, it's been a while since I've drawn Hellboy a few times. I was commissioned to draw him a couple of times, but it's been forever since I drew him. Doing things from memory is not always the way to go, but I need a Hellboy refresher. But definitely a cool character. But always looks best in Mike Mignola style. That's not what I'm doing here, but you get the idea. Ronnie's doing good. It's always good to hear. Yeah, so I hope all of you in my chat here and all of you watching, there's a couple more people who haven't chimed in yet. You always got some lurkers. Go and sign up to Designated Issue 1. That's 1 of 5. That's a book. Mark Torres, myself, got George Medina doing lettering. We got Abby. I'm gonna forget her last name, but posted it not too long ago. Abby is joining us as the graphic designer. She's done some work on the Kickstarter page, as well as should be doing some work in the book itself. Yeah, it's shaping up, and hope it does really, really well. Because potential for me to make some good money off of it is how good it does. So I really want it to succeed, so I can retire in the Bahamas. As all comic book artists do. That's the way it goes for us comic book artists. Now, I hope it does really good, because that will help my other projects. I'm just jamming on a bunch of books this year. Currently jamming on some ink pieces I'm doing, which I'll share out this week, next week. Yeah, this is all about independent comics and creators. I've definitely seen an uptake in people making their own comics. I know the fine folks in my chat are part of some projects, and you can promote yourselves if you want in the chat. Tell us what you're working on, what you got coming out. this year, by all means. You can't post links unless you're fringed, but you could always just type out the names of the projects. People go follow you by name on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And look further into your projects. But yeah, it's like when I was working in the 90s, I started in industry back in 91. There was very, very few people with computers, and there wasn't the internet we know today that allow us to do so much more. Now we have so many different art programs to help us out, and of course, internet to spread the word, and streaming on YouTube and everywhere else. I got together with a bunch of fine folks earlier just for a private stream. It's always good to get with other creators during the day and talk about, what we're working on, or just shoot the shit about what we're up to in our personal lives. Not everything has to be public. But it helps, pass the time, and we regale each other with, tales of success in horror. Let's see. Crimson Owl Comics says, still trying to hit the deadline for my horror comic. Cool. And Selena says, I'll check out both of your projects. Ronnie says, only got 2 more episodes to finish, and then go to physical book. And it's called Eventual Heart on Torres. Selena says, congratulations. Yes. Awesome. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of it, and Ronnie's style has definitely changed last batch of years, and I think this stuff is his best stuff yet. So you should definitely go check it out. So yeah, if you haven't noticed, mostly on the YouTubes, I've been doing a lot more drawing, and this isn't to do like, really excellent art to bring in a phenomenally large audience, although it's always my hope. This is to get me more back into the rhythm of penciling every day if possible. I find for me, it definitely helps me to improve my art, even if I'm just futzing around. Because I do have a few short stories I'll be penciling, backups to other things, books I'll be publishing after retro. I got a backup for what will be called Alien Arena. I got Retro Zero that I'm going to be doing a story myself, but also get a couple of friends in on it, and that's going to be really exciting. I originally just planned it as a whatever, like 8-page story, the origin of Retro's name. Well, I decided to make it a full-fledged book, because just doing a short comic felt a little weird, and I have a real cool idea as to what sort of short stories in addition to that will be. And I'm going to get some friends, artists and writers in on it. There'd just be my story and then 3 other stories. So it'll be like a, 32-page book, maybe a 40-page book, we'll see. And a chance to do some cool things with retro with some other fine folks. And Alien Arena, Retro Zero. I noticed other things in the wings, other things I'll be getting to. Right now there's Hawk in New York, which you could buy copies to now. I believe Randy Bishop has already shipped out a bunch of issue 7s that I helped out on. So it's very, very exciting. There's Wildcat Anthology is live now. That's happening. And then Designated is the next book up. Sign up for that. And there should be another one shortly following that. We got, I've only did cover work for it, but American Alchemist, I'm sure will be coming up this summer as well. Be crowdfunding. And yeah, it's like trying to make sure I promote all that every chance I get. Because there'll be a lot more coming in addition to that. And not everybody watches every video, so if you only watch one video, I want to make sure you know that I got a number of projects out there, and I want to see every book succeed. Wildcat needs some help, so if you want to help me promote it, the link to that is down below. We are currently, I believe, last time I looked at earlier today, it was 30% funded, and we want to see it 100% funded, as well as, go above and beyond that. So let's make that happen, folks. Let's make that happen. But yeah, growing up, starting in comics in the 90s, there were independent comics back then. Obviously the biggest thing to hit in the 90s was Image Comics, and that was all independent comics, independent comic publisher. And that was an amazing time. And, I know a lot of creators nowadays would love that kind of success and that kind of, just like interest in their books, kind of crazy numbers that we could only hope for and dream of. But it is possible to, put out a comic and get a good audience behind it. I know my sort of job will become easier as I get a bunch of books out, and more people will know my name and know my work. I mean, people know me as an anchor and blah, 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 or people know my name because of my brother, but it's Comix Mate, otherwise known as Dean James, and Dean James got a sign up for Embrace issue 2, I believe. Do I have your link down below? If I don't, I need to get it there. I'm drawing Hellboy. It's maybe it's my version of Hellboy at the moment. But yeah, just having fun, just trying to draw daily. Everybody saying hello. Let's see. Ronnie says, Halloween Meets the Latex Adventure is coming out. Had them on the horror show and enter the fan art contest to get my work, maybe as variant cover. Oh, cool. Latex Avenger. Who's the creators behind that? That sounds naughty. It could be that kind of book. Who knows? But yeah, I'm trying to draw because I'll be doing retro with issue 2 on. I got, before that, I'll be doing a bunch of short stories. And I want to be doing a lot more art for prints and fan art. There's so many of my friends are doing independent comics of their own, and I really want to get into doing drawing a bunch of their characters sort of in my style. Right now my schedule is insane, but I'll be getting to that. I've always intended to do a bunch of my brother's characters. I always wanted to do. I've done some of that, but really want to do a good Painkiller Jane pinup, and definitely want to do an awesome Ash pinup. If you don't know, Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti created a character called Ash, and they published a couple of different miniseries. Their company was Event Comics back in the day. They did other comics like 22 Brides, Painkiller Jane, Kid Def and Fluffy. But Ash is a character I actually named. And I always had a vision for sort of an awesome pinup, which I'll get to at some point. And I'm gonna finish a bunch of books this year, and focus a lot of my energy next year on improving my art. Probably taking a bunch of art classes, and before I start on issue 2 of Retro, because I know I'm more capable of than what I actually produce at the moment. And I want to learn from some of the best people out there to learn from. Lots of people have courses now, and some very excellent people that I've followed throughout the years. And yeah, as much as just like, boot camp myself and train. And Selena says, all good to see you here today. Happy 4th. Be safe. And thank you for hosting, Pete. My pleasure. My pleasure. And Ronnie says, Dean Edwards and Dan Price. Drew Edwards and Dan Price. What was it? Dan also made Bigfoot Knows. Oh, Bigfoot Knows Karate. Yeah, I've heard of that. Cool. So is Latex Avenger an adult comic, or is it just, tongue-in-cheek kind of thing? Yeah, and if you don't know, Crimson Owl Comics puts out an excellent show focusing on comics, focusing on horror, comics de la Mota. And on his channel, it's Crimson Owl Comics is his YouTube channel name. So if you're not subscribed, go check it out. Comics Mate goes by Comics Mate on his YouTube channel, I believe. And he does crazy videos. I'm going to go check out his as well. And the more I work on this, the less it looks like Hellboy, but whatever. That was my intention. Sometimes comics, sometimes art goes astray, but you know. But yeah, independent comics is definitely a lot more creators. It seems to me, because it's a lot easier not only to make comics and have them as web comics or just put a webcomic on your site, or there's plenty of webcomic sites. Makes it so easy to do online. But it's so much easier to print comics, and you don't have to print 2,000 copies. You don't have to put out the money for 2,000 copies off the bat. You just, do print on demand and have people buy a couple of copies, and there you go. You produce the comic. I'm sure everybody that's watching this or will watch this knows all this, but it's always good to be reminded. It's like there's a lot of us out there, and a lot of us, support all the others in doing the same thing, and it's great. It's a great community of people, and we all egg each other on. I will say one of the people I was hanging out with was Emmy Binter. If you don't know her, she's been on my channel a bunch of times, and she will be again at some point. She's always fun to talk with. She doesn't, other than me, she doesn't really associate with a lot of others. She just does her own work and keeps her head down, gets stuff done. But she live streams a lot. She's used to live stream on what is it, the gaming site. I'm blanking. But she's decided Picado is a better place to go. Because there's restrictions on YouTube on the other one I can't think of at the moment. But Picado is a lot more, doesn't care if you play music, doesn't care, there's no restrictions like that. Although I think it's more like you gotta pay a nominal fee, whatever, to stream there or something to that effect. But yeah, man, yeah, man, or yeah, woman, whoever's listening. Life has definitely been crazy and crazier and craziest. I have a bit of a cat problem. Not only myself, but my ex, my current best friend in town. We both have a little too many cats on our hands, and it's really been affecting me and the amount of work I can do. So we're attempting to find homes for a bunch of them and seeing what we can do. Because it's just, it's getting out of hand, but there's that, and there's a lot of, other things happening currently, but trying to do best I can, get on and stay on top of my workload, and get back here and stream more and post more on Patreon. If you're not supporting me on Patreon, please consider it. There's a bunch of links down below. I will mention this, or I mentioned this recent video, but I had Facebook pages. I had one for my studio, which I had forever. I had a bunch of single ones for comics. I was working on and will be again, but I decided to take down all my pages on Facebook because sharing to them is a lot more difficult or near impossible. The amount of reach they have as opposed to what they used to have is, they become real pains in the ass. And plus it's also, it's extra work. I have my regular profile page. If you're not directly a friend of mine, if we're not friended together, you could still follow me there. So I was like, you know what? That's good enough. We're either linked there, or you can, you can follow me. You can go there and just hit follow, and you can see my posts. You can comment. You can message me, whatever your heart's desire is. And you can keep track of what I'm doing, what's going on, what's coming up, all that jazz. So all those Facebook pages have gone away, and I'll just be focused on my regular profile page on Facebook. I'll be focused on Twitter, Instagram, and here on YouTube. I'm also on LinkedIn. Don't really promote it, but if that site works for you, I'm there. I'm on Pinterest, but I don't update that. Ronnie said something else. Dan wrote Latex Avenger, and Drew made Halloween Man, so they joined forces to bring the heroes in a horror comedy comic. Awesome. Oh yeah, I should have realized it. It's probably a horror comic since you talk about it on your show. So this is this looks less and less like Hellboy, but it's reminding me of when Wolverine had a Japanese girlfriend. Whatever. You get the point. He's wearing a Japanese robe. Isn't that awesome? But yeah, I got a bunch of links down below for different independent comics. One of which is Reaper Destroyer. I believe there's only 10 more days on that if you want to go support that book. I forget if I have Shadowpunk that recently went live. Type 1 is coming up in August. Sign up. You can sign up now, and that link is down below. There's Dan Flego's Goblin Girl. Yeah, there's a bunch. Not as many as I don't want to put like 90 campaigns, but maybe I'll rotate. I don't know. We'll see. But it's like I got the space down below. I got plenty of links myself. But I want to support more and more creators, as I've done throughout my whole existence in this comic industry. But yeah, I'll be inking a piece for Reaver Destroyer. Speaking of which, that I'm super excited about. It's for my own pleasure, but I got permission by the creator Joe. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I got one piece close to finishing. I'll probably, the person who commissioned me will probably share it out tomorrow. Because that's when I'll have it done. It's usually what happens. So look forward to something new soon. Inking a book probably next month, and that I'll be doing some sample panels for, so the artist gets an idea of what I look over his work. I mentioned that also recently. I'm a flexible inker. Like, if you tell me specifically, I love Alan Davis, would love my work, to look like Alan Davis, even though I don't pencil like Alan Davis. But with you inking, maybe I can look like him. I can lean in certain directions. I have my own nuances that show up, but if you ask me to just go heavy inks on what I do, then I could do that. But if you want like an image style, like really detailed, lots of feathering, whatever, I could do that. If you want me to keep it simple and tight, I could do that. Whatever you want. I work with pencilers, and it usually takes a couple of issues. Let's be honest. It takes a couple of issues of a team to truly mesh, as I see it. And that's why I want to do more ongoing series, that's what I plan to do in my company, and I plan to do with other creators, like Dean. Like, we'll be doing a book together, and I want it to be many issues, so we can really like meld our styles together over time to get it to a certain kind of perfection of what we look like together. So which reminds me, I gotta make a phone call soon. Probably after I stream, call one of my brothers, see how he's doing. I got, I'm the youngest of 4 brothers, and yeah, so three older brothers. Mom had to put up with a lot. mom was a stay-at-home mom, at least when we were all very young. When I was a little older, she worked second, like part-time jobs, helped other people out. Well, helped as in a job, helping elderly or people living at home. She did chores for them. But even, it's like mom had help. Mom had one of my aunts, well, two of my aunts, really, but one was around more often, who would come in and pitch it, give mom a break, take a day off or whatever. My dad worked a job, co-owned a paint store business. I when I was young is when my dad had the paint store, and I never really took advantage of it. Like I really didn't consider myself an artist. Certainly not a professional until I was, my late 20s, and my dad passed away when I was 25. So I was still, I had a day job, but I was still finding my way around. Like, what do I want to do my life? Having a day job was good, but I wasn't sure it was the direction I'd be in for the rest of my life or whatever. It was just a means to pay bills and have my own place and get to go out and have girlfriends and whatever. But it wasn't decided, until I decided to do comics for a living, that really gave direction to me and what I wanted to do. Somebody mentioned recently. Well, I watched Brian Smallwood, which is the creator, writer, artist of Wildcat. I did a story for Wildcat Anthology, and he was on Marshall's show recently. Marshall Lee, if you don't know, Marsh makes comics. He's Donkey Jaw Projects. And what got brought up? Marshall thought I worked for Image. I had books published by Image. Frankly, it was 3 books. One of them was a book called Golly, Golly, that I did inks on, and that was was it Phil Hester wrote and created that. He had an artist that inked. It's a really good looking book. It was a fun read. I only inked 1 issue, and that was technically before it was an Image book. So technically, when I inked it, it wasn't an Image book. There was speculation it could become, but we weren't sure. Anyway, Phil paid me out of his pocket since it was his project, and it did go and become an Image book and was published by them. There's even a trade of it with my issue in it. I should have made his horns bigger. That's what's throwing me off a little bit. You get the idea. But yeah, so I had that book. I had something called Faction Paradox. The story behind that is the guy who wrote that book actually wrote a bunch of Doctor Who novels. and he got permission to use what he wrote in one of his Doctor Who novels as the story and like the world building he did for a comic, just taking out everything that was, Doctor Who and Doctor Who characters and properties. So that became Faction Paradox. I believe I believe 2 issues were published. I think I worked on 2.5 issues. It was a good looking book. It was a good read, but nobody knew what it was. And the numbers weren't there, so it didn't continue. But that was me and Jim Calfury. I did do some pinups that I inked, and possibly even drew a couple of pinups for some books back in the 90s that somehow impossibly, like, somebody asked me to draw something for them back in the day. I know as an artist I still need a lot of help. more than anything else, it's patience. Which if you ever watch me ink, I don't know. On YouTube, I ink differently, I guess, because I'm on camera. I'm aware of that. But I am very precise in how I ink things. And I need to get that way with how I pencil things. Like you see me now, and I'm sort of fudging my way to a final piece here. But I want to become a tight penciler. Not to do it all the time if I'm just inking myself, but I might be interested in being inked by others, or just potentially have a tighter final art on the books I work on, where I'm penciling and inking myself. We'll see what works best when I get there, but I want to start out as a tight penciler and then doing inks over that, because I know, like, if I just fudge in the pencils, then ink over that, then it's 50-50 that it's going to turn out the way I want it to. So I need to improve the odds, as they say. So I gotta go, buddy. Great seeing you. Hope everyone has a great night. Well, thanks for coming by, man. I will mention again, like, if you're here and you want to throw in like projects you're working on in the chat, if you don't have a wrench, I can wrench you down the line. I can't do it at the moment, but you can, feel free to type in what you're working on, what you got going on at the moment. If you want to promote your YouTube channel, your Instagram, what have you, by all means, I want to support you as you support me. You coming here to watch my show means the world to me. So any way I could help you out, I know, like, in theory, my channel is bigger than a lot of other channels, my friends' channels. I don't have like 1,000 people coming on to one of my live streams, or even 100 people view each video or whatever, but it will improve over time. I mean, my main objective this year is to finish a lot of projects, whether they all get published this year or actually, what this reminds me of Steven Seagal now. Anyway, that's what Wolverine was inspired by. He's a comic book version of Steven Seagal. I'm sure some of you don't know who I'm talking about, but it's It's a white man Van Damme. But yeah, so if you want to drop in, hey, come to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is called this, blah blah blah. Or I'm working on this comic. You can go check it out on Webtoons or wherever. By all means. I plan to have some guests on, before September. So like over the summer, I'll probably have a few guests, but mostly I'm keeping to just doing solo videos. I will be having on. So I do a book called Retro, and I created this character in the late 70s, like when I was young, teenager. Me and my friend would just hang out in the woods, walking, hiking, going to our local stream. This is during the summer months. I had summer month friends, and he was into comics, I was into comics, and we sort of just created our own characters off the top of our heads. And later we both went home and drew our characters. So I created Retro back then and came up with the visuals. And my friend Steve as well, he came up with a character. And yeah, I drew my character when I went home. I told this story before. It's like it's something I created and I showed some people. Like I didn't show my art to everybody back when, but I showed some people, and like the next thing I remember, like my father had his own room in our house. Because he worked 6 days a week, and when I was younger, my mother had health issues on and off, and so he got his own room when she wasn't feeling that great, and he could go sleep in and wake up early and not disturb her. And anyway, I went into his room one day, and I saw it framed in glass. My drawings. It was like two figures, and in lettering, I wrote out Retro, and the two figures were colored. One was colored black and red. One was colored black and green. Those are the colors I was thinking of at the time. And it made me so happy that, like he framed my work and put it on his wall. And I was like, I got to do something with the character. So I thought about Retro for years and came up with storylines and crazy things I could do. And yeah, it's taken me forever. It's taken me my lifetime to get around to it. There's no excuse. It's like some things take a lifetime. And anyway, that's all to say that the guests I have coming up also had a story to tell. There's more to it than that, and they'll be here to tell about it all themselves. But they have a book called Retro. They have a character called Retro, and it's different than mine. And so I'm super excited. They got a Kickstarter that's live right now. The link to that is down below. Yeah, I'll be having them on to talk about their project, and they're coming from a whole different angle, and also like different places they've worked for, so that'll be fun. And they'll be getting to me soon. I hope to have the writer creator as well as the artist So both of them together, which take a little work. And and like if their book really hits and my book really hits, we might be talking crossover in a couple of years. So it'll be retro the crossover. But holy cow, we're at an hour. And yeah, this is my sort of interpretation of Hellboy that looks like Steven Seagal, that looks like Wolverine, that looks like I don't know what. But yeah, I'm just trying to draw more. That's what that's all about. I'm trying to stream when I can. Hopefully, I can keep that up. If you really want to support my work, become a Patreon. Links down below. I'm trying to do drawings there as well when I can. Failing there more than here. But I got a lot of projects I'm juggling and a lot of ink work I'm doing, and it will all come together. But thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll try to be here, Monday through Friday during the week, streaming.